So welcome back to the Stepping Stone Olympiad and IIT. So today our discussion of the topic is plane geometry revision. Okay, so it will be useful for your board exam point of view as well as for your competitive exam point of view. So the session is like fill up the blanks. So you go through the statement and write your answer. After that, we'll discuss a few at a time. So instead of discussing each and every one immediately, so you write the answer and then we'll discuss. Okay, so here we may not give the derivations, but we are going to discuss only, so that it will be like some formulas and concepts revision only. Okay, now and in this around 89 questions are there. If you are able to do correctly all, then you are very good and you are able to achieve all Olympiad and IIT also. In case if you are able to get above 80, then definitely you can be the topper. Okay, so you counted how many you are able to do correctly also. You write the question numbers and the write your answers, and after the discussion you mark it whether you have done correctly or wrong. Now, let us start now. Now, so the two questions are appeared. Now you write your answers. Okay, tell me the answer. First one. A straight line which intersects two or more straight lines in distinct points is called a
transversal.
good. Transversal. Next. If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then alternate angles are equal. What about corresponding angles?
Equals.
Equal. Next. Interior angles on the same side of the transversal are
Sir, is it supplementary?
good. Supplementary. Next, 3, 4, 5, 6. You go through the statement and then again we'll discuss. Sum of the interior angles of a triangle is dash. Right angles. So how many right angles? How many right angles? 2 right angles. That is 180 degrees. Exterior angle of a triangle is equal to sum of two opposite
Interior angle. Angles.
Interior angles. This word is important, interior. Next, a polygon in which all the angles are less than 2 right angles is called a
Convex polygon.
Sure.
Concave.
A polygon in which all the angles are less than 2 right angles is called a convex polygon. A polygon in which at least one angle is dash angle is called a concave polygon. What should be here in the fill up the blank? Fast. Reflex angle. Tell me anybody what is meant by reflex angle?
Any angle greater than 180 degrees.
More than 180 degrees and less than 360 degrees is called a reflex angle. A polygon in which all the angles and sides are equal is called a. Tell me. Regular polygon. Anybody has written correctly? Next. A polygon in which all the sides are equal is called a. Equilateral polygon. A polygon in which all the angles are equal is called a. Now can you say the name?
Sir, square.
Equiangular polygon. Next. Sum of interior angles of a polygon, convex or concave, of n sides is. What is the formula? Two n minus 4 into 90 degrees, or you can say n minus 2 into 180 degrees. Sum of exterior angles of a convex polygon of n sides is. What is the answer? (360 degrees). Number of diagonals of a polygon of n sides is. Anybody knows? Okay, for a triangle, you tell me how many diagonals will be there?
Sir, 1.
No. For a triangle, no diagonal. For a quadrilateral, how many will be there?
2.
2. Now, for a pentagon, how many will be there? You can draw a rough figure and you can check.
5.
5. Now, those numbers, it will form some sequence. Based on the sequence concept, you can derive the formula. Okay. So at present, I'm giving the formula only. You can try the derivation. N into n minus 3 by 2. So derivations we'll discuss in the regular classes, not in this class. So position of the circumcenter for acute angle triangle, for obtuse triangle and right angle triangle. Now, where it will be? Circumcenter for an acute angle triangle. Where it will be always? Is it inside or outside or on any side? So for acute angle triangle, circumcenter will be always what? Inside. For obtuse triangle, it will be outside. So when you construct for a acute angle triangle, then you will find that circumcenter will be inside only. Whereas for obtuse angle triangle, it will be outside. Whereas for a right angle triangle, tell me anybody? Midpoint of hypotenuse. You should remember all this. In the construction also you can observe. If you construct, then you can able to observe easily. I think you know what the definition of circumcenter. Point of concurrence of perpendicular bisectors of the sides of a triangle, or the point which is equidistant from all the three vertices of a triangle is called the circumcenter. Next, orthocenter for acute angle triangle, where it will be? So it will be also inside for acute angle triangle, and it is outside for obtuse triangle. For a right angle triangle, where it will be? At vertex of right angle. Next, in center, you can able to say easily. In center will be always inside only. Where is acute angle triangle or obtuse angle triangle or right angle triangle? Centroid. Centroid also will be always inside only. Yeah. What's the definition of orthocenter? Point of concurrence of altitudes is called the orthocenter. In center, point of concurrence of angle bisectors is called in center, or the point which is equidistant from the sides of a triangle is called the in center. What is meant by centroid? Point of concurrence of medians of a triangle is called the centroid. Have you remembered the property of centroid? Centroid always divide the median in the ratio of 2:1 starting from the vertex. That you have to remember. So the next one is axioms of congruence are. Tell me anybody, what are the axioms of congruence? So one is yes, yes, yes. That is side, side, side. Next, one more.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, yeah, yes. Next, one more.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, yeah. R. For this, you can have one more also. Can I change the order here? A, yes, R, yes, A also is applicable. Why? Because two angles corresponding are equal and third angle also equal. Next, one more, fourth one.
RHS.
Correct. RHS, right angle, hypotenuse and side. Next, SSA and AAA property cannot establish the dash of two triangles. What? Congruence. SSC and AAA property cannot establish the congruence of two triangles. Next, sum of the lengths of any two sides of a triangle is always dash the third side. Tell me fast. Greater than the third side. Difference of the lengths of any two sides of a triangle is dash the third side is what? Less than the third side. If the non-parallel sides of a trapezium are equal, then it is said to be and dash what? Have you remember the name? Isosceles trapezium. So non-parallel sides of a trapezium are equal, then it is said to be an isosceles trapezium. Next, 19. In this, in an isosceles trapezium, the angles at the end of dash sides are equal. The angles at the end of parallel sides are equal. The angles at the end of equal sides are equal. The diagonal lengths are, this you can guess easily. Equal. So you try to derive this. Later, you try to derive this. Using the congruency and similarity of triangles, you can derive. If three or more parallel lines make equal intercepts on one transversal, then they make dash on any other transversal also. This also is easy, you can able to say. Then they make equal intercepts on any other transversal also. Next. These are easy. So write your answers first. The line segment joining the midpoints of any two sides of a triangle is dash to the third side. Tell me what could be here. Is parallel to this third side and also half of third side. It is known as, tell me the name. Midpoint theorem. You should remember the name also and the statement, and this you can prove easily. Next, a straight line drawn through the midpoint of one side and dash to another side of a triangle dash the third side. So what could be this? Fill up the blanks. A straight line drawn through the midpoint of one side and parallel to another side of a triangle bisects the third side. In a trapezium ABCD, AB parallel to CD, number one, E and F are the midpoints of AD and BC, then EF equal to, anybody knows? Half of the sum of the parallel sides, that is half of AB plus CD. Next, second, P and Q are the midpoints of diagonals AC and BD, then PQ equal to. So it is also similar, half of modulus of difference of the parallel sides, that is modulus of AB minus CD. So try to derive this later. It will be very important for your exams, competitive exam point of view. The locus of a point equidistant from two given points is the dash of the line segment joining them. What could be the fill of the blank? The locus of a point equidistant from two given points is the perpendicular bisector of the line segment joining them. Any point on the perpendicular bisector of the line segment joining two given points is, you can able to say easily, equidistant. Equidistant from them. Next. The locus of a point equidistant from two intersecting lines is the union of the pair of lines dash the angles formed by the given lines. So the locus of a point equidistant from two intersecting lines is the union of the pair of lines bisecting the angles formed by the given lines. Any point on the bisectors of one of the angles formed by two intersecting lines is equidistant from the lines. The triangle formed by the feet of the altitudes of a triangle is called the, there is some specific name is there. In the school level, there is a chance that you may not done this. But if you have referred the books to the higher level or to the Olympiad level, in case if you are referred, then you will come to know the name. A triangle formed by the feet of the altitudes of a triangle is called the pedal triangle. Have you understood? So it is like this figure. So this is a triangle. Now what you have to do is the triangle formed by the feet of the altitudes. Draw all the perpendiculars from each vertex. Now these are the feet of the altitudes. So if I denote this is a D, this is E, and this is F, then triangle DEF is called the pedal triangle of the given triangle ABC. So these are the important for your Olympiad exam point of view, these points. So you can go through once again. The line passing through the orthocenter, centroid, and circumcenter of any triangle which is not equilateral is called Euler's line. And centroid divides the orthocenter to circumcenter in the ratio of 2:1. In a triangle which is not equilateral, ON is to NG is to GS is 3:1:2, where N denotes the 9-point circle center. A triangle formed by the excenters of a triangle is called the excentral triangle. The next one, the incenter of a triangle becomes the dash for the excentral triangle. It will be the orthocenter. Next, area of triangle ABC is dash, where A and B are the lengths of the sides and theta is the included angle between the sides. Now, so most of you know the formula is half into base into height, but if theta is the included angle, using trigonometry, you can derive the formula as half AB sine theta. So if I take this is the angle theta and these are the sides A and B, then the area of the triangle will be half AB sine theta. Next, area of triangle ABC in terms of R and S is, here R is the in radius and S is the semi perimeter. So you can derive it as R into S. And in terms of A comma B comma C and R, where capital R is the circumradius and small r is the in radius. So in terms of ABC and R is ABC upon 4R. So in case if you are preparing for the higher level, Olympiads level, then you have to try these derivations also. A diagonal of a parallelogram divides it into two congruent triangles of. This you can able to say easily. Tell me anybody. Equal area. A diagonal of a parallelogram divides it into two congruent triangles of equal area. Parallelograms on the same base and between the same dashed lines are equal in area. Same parallel lines are equal in area. Next, parallelograms on equal bases and between the same parallel lines are what? What you can say? Equal in area. Parallelograms on equal bases and between the same parallel lines are equal in area. Triangles on the same base and between the same parallel lines are equal in area. See the next one. If a triangle and a parallelogram are on the same base and between the same parallel lines, the area of the triangle is half of that of the parallelogram. A dash divides a triangle into two triangles of equal area. Tell me anybody? A median divides a triangle into two triangles of equal area. If two triangles have the same height, then the ratio of dash is equal to the ratio of their corresponding base lengths. Ratio of areas is equal to the ratio of their corresponding base lengths. This you can derive easily also using the half into base into height. If G is the centroid of the triangle ABC, then area of triangle AGB is to area of triangle ABC. If you draw the rough figure, then you can able to get the answer also easily. And even you can try to prove it also. It is 1:3. ABCD is a quadrilateral. A line drawn parallel to BD through C intersect AB produced at E. Then area of quadrilateral is dash to the area of triangle AED is what? Half. No. Is it half or twice? Anybody knows? You can draw the rough figure. ABCD is a quadrilateral. A line drawn parallel to BD through C intersect AB produced at E. Then area of quadrilateral is equal to. It is not half. It is equal to. You can have a construction also. Equal to area of triangle AED. You can derive using the congruence concept. This is a very important one. If any convex n-gon means polygon of n sides is given, first we can construct an n-1 polygon having the same area. Then we can construct n-2 polygon of the same area. We go on repeat this and finally we can construct a dash of the same area. It is similar to the previous one, triangle. Of the same area. Next. In a triangle, a line drawn parallel to one side will divide the other two sides in the what? Same ratio. Now, this statement known as what? What's the name of this statement or theorem? Basic proportionality theorem. Or one more name is also there. You should remember that also. Thales theorem. Next, this is one more point. The bisector of the vertical angle of a triangle divides the base in the ratio of the other two sides, known as vertical angle bisector theorem. Now, try to prove this also later. Axioms of similarity of two triangles are. So, what are the axioms of similarity of two triangles? You can say these answers easily. Okay, let me write yourself first these answers and then we'll discuss. See the next. So axioms of similarity of two triangles are, one is So AA similarity. Another one is AAA. Now, tell me the next one. Yes, yes, yes. Next. Yes, A, yes. Yeah. This is very important one. Triangle ABC is right angle. Angle B is 90 degrees. Right angle triangle. Angle B is 90 degrees. And BD perpendicular to AC. Then triangle ABC is similar to which triangle? Triangle. What? A, D, B. Next, one more. Triangle ABC is similar to. One more triangle will be there. What is that triangle? Triangle BDC. If you want, you can have a figure. So angle B is 90. So BD perpendicular to AC. So using similarities, you can prove the triangle ABC is similar to triangle ADB, as well as triangle ABC is similar to triangle BDC, and these two are also similar. Now, so using once the triangles are similar, the sides are in proportion. Using the sides are in proportion conditions, then you can derive all this. So what is CD into CA? CD into CA equal to CB square, and AD into AC equal to AB square, and BD square equal to AD into DC. So you can derive all this using the similarity of triangles, write the proportions, and then you can derive. Next, triangle ABC is similar to triangle PQR. Then BC square upon QR square equal to AC square upon PR square equal to AB square upon PQ square. That is squares of the corresponding sides ratios equal to what? Area of triangle ABC upon area of triangle PQR. I hope you know the derivation also. Next. In a triangle, if the square of one side is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, then the angle opposite to the first side is a right angle. In a triangle ABC, angle A is an acute angle, then BC square will be less than CA square plus CB square. If angle A is obtuse angle, then BC square will be greater than CA square plus CB square. Now, what you can do is, instead of going for derivation, you can go for a construction and then you can verify all this. Next, if AD is a median in triangle ABC, then AB square plus AC square upon BD square plus AD square equal to 2. And this statement, this theorem is known as Apollonius theorem. So try to derive this also, all of you. Note down the statement and try to derive. So if AD is the median, then you can prove that AB square plus AC square equal to 2 times of BD square plus AD square. Next, If two triangles are similar, then the ratio of the corresponding sides is the same as the ratio of the corresponding altitudes, medians, angle bisectors. Try to derive this also later. So, and this is a very important point you should remember. So if two triangles are similar, then the ratio of the corresponding sides is the same as the ratio of the corresponding altitudes, medians, and angle bisectors. In any triangle, 3 times the sum of the squares of the sides of a triangle is equal to dash times the sum of the squares of the medians of the triangle. So this you can derive it as 4 times. 4 times the sum of the squares of the medians of the triangle. Using Apollonius theorem, we can derive this easily. P and Q are the midpoints of the sides CA and CB respectively of a triangle ABC, right angle at C. Then 4 times of AQ square plus BP square equal to dash times AB square. Anybody remember? Because derivation it may take time. How many times? 5 times of AB square. ABC is a right angle at C. If P is the length of the perpendicular from C to AB, then PC equal to, you can derive it as AB, and 1 by A square plus 1 by B square equal to 1 by P square. Now, observe the figure. So ABC is a right angle at C. If P is the length of the perpendicular from C to AB, that is from C, you draw the perpendicular to AB. Let us denote this as D. Then this CD length is P. Now you can derive as using the area concept, area of triangle ABC with half into base into height. And again, by taking the AB as the base and CD as the height, then it will be PC. So PC equal to AB, and C square equal to A square plus B square. So you can derive it as 1 by A square plus 1 by B square equal to 1 by B square. So go through the statements, stop the video, write the answers, and then you can verify. So a straight line joining the center of a circle to the midpoint of a chord is perpendicular to the chord. Number of circles that can be drawn passing through 3 non-collinear points is only 1. Chords of a circle that are equidistant from its center are equal in length. The angle subtended at the center of a circle, the angle subtended at the center of a circle by an arc is dash the angle subtended by it at any point on the remaining part of the circumference. Now, what could be this answer? The angle subtended at the center of a circle by an arc is twice the angle subtended by it at any point on the remaining part of the circumference. Next. The bisectors of the angles of A, B and C of triangle ABC meet the circumcircle of triangle ABC at X, Y and Z respectively. Then angles of the triangle XYZ are. So you try to draw the rough figure and draw the triangle XYZ, and then using the circle properties, you can derive the angles XYZ. So angle X in the triangle XYZ it is. So you can derive it as 90 minus A by 2 and angle Y equal to 90 minus B by 2 and angle Z equal to 90 minus C by 2. If you want, I'll give a rough figure so you can try. So the bisectors of the angles. So this is the circle. So I can take the triangle ABC as this. Now what I should do it? The bisectors of the angles. So this is one angle bisector meets circle at X and through B, Y and through C it is Z. Now as per the statement, if I join, so this will be the triangle XYZ. So this angles we need to calculate. Okay. So from the figure using the circle properties, try to identify what could be this angle. Will be same as which portion of the angle. So if you observe this angle ZXA corresponding to the arc AZ. Now if you observe the same arc, it also subtends this angle. And this is what bisector. So this is C by 2. So that means this angle will be C by 2. In the same manner, observe this figure. This angle we want. And this angle is subtended by the arc AY. And again AY also subtend at B. So this angle. And this is bisector. So this angle is B by 2. That means this is also B by 2. Now the angle X becomes what? B by 2 plus C by 2, which is same as 90 minus A by 2. In the same manner, we can derive the remaining also. I hope you understood. Next, angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. The angle in a semicircle is a right angle. A quadrilateral whose vertices lie on a circle is called a cyclic quadrilateral. The points lying on the same circle are called concyclic points. The opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. Observe the next statement. If a side of a cyclic quadrilateral is produced, the exterior angle is equal to the opposite interior angle. Next, if a line segment joining 2 points subtends equal angles at 2 points lying on the same side of the line containing the segment, the 4 points are concyclic. Or the 4 points forms a cyclic quadrilateral. If a quadrilateral ABCD circumscribes a circle with center O, then sum of the angles subtended by the opposite sides of a quadrilateral is supplementary. Try to derive this. This is very important property and you should remember also. Definitely can able to do it. Try. Isosceles trapezium is a dash quadrilateral. Cyclic quadrilateral because the opposite angles are supplementary. Next, P is a point on the circumference of triangle ABC. PL, PM and PN are drawn perpendicular to BC, AC and BA respectively. Then L, M and N are. So draw the rough figure or do some construction. Then you can understand that these points are collinear. And the line LMN is called Simpson's line. Or another name is pedal line. Like pedal triangle before we have discussed is the pedal line. This I think you can able to say. A tangent to a circle is perpendicular to the radius through the point of contact. Number of tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are. So how many tangents can be drawn from an external point to a circle? Are 2. And they are equal in length. This is also very important and you know also. If 2 chords AB and CD of a circle intersect at P inside or outside of the circle when produced, then the relation between the lengths of the segments PA, PB, PC and PD, that is product of the lengths of segments, are equal. That is PA into PB equal to PC into PD. It is like this figure. So the circle, so 2 chords. So this is 1 chord, this is the another chord. They are intersecting at a point. So I can say this is A, B, C, D. Then using similarity triangles concept, you can prove it. PA into PB equal to PC into PD. So here the point P is inside. Now you can also have the point is outside. So P, A, B, C, D. So here the chords are, when it is produced, they are intersecting outside a point P. So here also you can prove it as PA into PB equal PC into PD. Next, if a chord AB and a tangent PT intersect externally at P, then the relation between the lengths PA, PB and PT. So square of length of the tangent PT square equal to PA into PB. This you can conclude from the previous result also. The figure will be like this. So PAB, it is called a secant also, and PT is a tangent. So it's the tangent, it's the center, and this will be perpendicular. So try to derive this also, or from the above concept you can conclude directly. Next, a circle touches all the four sides of a quadrilateral ABCD. Then the relation between the lengths of the sides AB, BC, CD, and DA is. So this is a circle. A circle touches all the four sides of a quadrilateral. So let us draw the figure. So this is a quadrilateral, the figure A, B, C, D. So what is the relation between the length of sides A, B, C, D? Now you know the property that if for a circle, the lengths of the tangents drawn from an external point are equal. That means this length will be same as this length, and these two lengths are same, and these two lengths are same, and this lengths are same. So you can prove it as sum of the opposite side lengths are equal. That is AD plus BC. AD plus BC, can prove it as AB plus CD. If a line is drawn through an end point of a chord of a circle, so that the angle formed with the chord is equal to the angle subtended by the chord in the alternate segment, then the line is a tangent to the circle. Try to derive this also later. If the two circles lie on the same side of a common tangent, then it is said to be a direct common tangent. So if the two circles lie on the same side of a common tangent, so it is like this. This is one circle, this is the another circle. So this is the line which is touching both. It's called direct common tangent. Next. If the two circles lie on the opposite sides of the common tangent, then it is said to be a transverse common tangent. Transverse common tangent, or you can say indirect common tangent also. So it will be like this. So one circle is one side, another circle is another side. Now, let capital R comma small r, or capital R greater than small r, be the radii of two circles, and d is the distance between the centers of the two circles. DCT corresponds to direct common tangent, TCT corresponds to transverse common tangent. So write the relation between D, capital R and small r, position of the two circles, number of direct common tangents, number of transverse common tangents. So let me see the first two. So the relation between, what could be the relation between D, capital R and small r, when the position of circles are this, that is the two circles do not intersect and one will be away from the other. Then further, when you draw the figure, Here tell me how many direct common tangents are possible and how many transverse common tangents are possible, and what is the relation between the D, small r and capital R. Now, so the two circles do not intersect and one will be away from the other. Means it will be like this. One circle is here, another circle is here. Now, what could be the relation? So distance between the centers, if you observe from the figure itself, is greater than sum of the radii, that is capital R plus small r. Now from this figure you can understand how many direct common tangents are possible. So one is here and another is here. So two direct common tangents are possible, and also you can have two transverse common tangents also. That is one you can draw like this, and another you can draw like this. In the similar manner, let us do the next. So stop the video and then try all this and then verify. The two circles touch each other externally. So this will be the figure. When this is the figure, now, so from the figure you can able to say easily. So distance between the centers equal to sum of the radii, that is capital R plus small r. Now, so number of direct common tangents are 2, whereas transverse common tangent is only 1. Next, the two circles intersect in distinct points, that you can understand easily. So the figure will be like this. What could be the relation again? So distance between the centers will be less than the sum of the radii, that is capital R plus small r, and also greater than the difference, that is capital R minus small r. So here only direct common tangents will be possible, only 2, and there is no transverse common tangent. Next, the two circles touch each other internally. So if you observe the figure itself, we can conclude that distance between the centers equal to difference of the radii, that is capital R minus small r. Now, in this case, the number of direct common tangents only 1, and there is no transverse common tangent. Next, the two circles do not intersect and one will be completely inside the other. So it will be like this. This is one circle, this is another circle. So here the relation is distance between the centers is less than difference of the radii. Number of direct common tangents is 0, number of transverse common tangents also 0. The length of the direct common tangent formula. So you may not able to say directly, you stop the video and try to derive. So using the D is the distance between the centers, and capital R and small r the radii. So you can derive it as root of length of the direct common tangent, D square minus capital R minus small r whole square. Next, the length of the transverse common tangent is root of D square minus capital R plus small r whole square. So try to remember this and also derive. Next, in a cyclic quadrilateral ABCD, AB into CD plus BC into AD equal to dash, and also known as Ptolemy's theorem. So AB into CD plus BC into AD equal to product of the diagonals, that is AC into BD. This also you try to derive yourself. Next. So ABCD is a cyclic quadrilateral with AC perpendicular to BD and AC meets BD at P. Then the relation between PA, PB, PC, PD and R, where R is the circumradius of the circumcircle. So you can try to derive using the right angle triangle properties. PA square plus PB square plus PC square plus PD square equal to 4R square. So if you take a specific quadrilateral, then you can try to get the answer easily. Next. Area of a cyclic quadrilateral is where ABCD are the lengths of the sides of the quadrilateral and 2S equal to A plus B plus C plus D. So this will be root of, it will be like similar to the Heron's formula only. S minus A, S minus B, S minus C, S minus D. One more typical formula. If a circle is inscribed in a cyclic quadrilateral, then area of the cyclic quadrilateral can derive it as square root of ABCD. I hope you have enjoyed the class and you have learned some new points and try to improve yourself so that you can be in the topper in the competitive exams, and which is very important in these days because the competition is very high. So you have to be top position always. Thank you all of you.